Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful like Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Aki Awasap. Today's lesson is entitled, When is the Sabbath? And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which are the true names of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And as always, the sit downs, the lessons, the street speaking, it's for the remnant, the elect, the Israel, the Most High, and to you is the gospel preached. So when is the Sabbath? All right. And the short answer is the Sabbath is dictated by the moon phases. All right. A new moon represents a new month, and you will calculate 7 days from the new month, and that'll be the second Sabbath. The first Sabbath is the new moon, which tonight at evening, December 12th, the new moon comes in. So we have a Sabbath coming in tonight, and that's a new moon. All right. And then from 7 days on out, you would, keep the Sabbath. All right. And, I will say this, the Lord do know our conditions. He do know that we are yet this day in the land of our captivity where we're made subject unto payments. So the Lord know that, brothers got jobs and different things that, you gotta, do in order to keep your situation going. So, you know, we're here in Babylon the Great for punishment. Now, if you can get the day off, do it. You honor the Sabbath, and you can do so by, do a lesson, be in prayer, watch videos, read, study, so on and so forth, and you're not supposed to cook, light fires, have sex, and do pretty much anything that's pleasurable, or that requires work, you know, and cooking. All right. And then that was a day that we used to dedicate ourselves to the Lord. All right. And it was a rest day where we rest from our labors. So, just with that being said, let's go ahead and start with the lesson. I typed in Sabbath and came up 137 times in 116 verses in the KJV. So here in Exodus chapter 16, verse 23, it says, And he said unto them, This is that which Yahweh hath said, Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seeth that ye will seeth, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning. So basically cooking double the day before, and then you will have leftovers that'll last for that day, and into the Sabbaths to prevent you from having to cook. All right, that's basically what it's saying. So when you go to this word Sabbath here, and it's good to go into the Hebrew. By the way, this is the Blue Letter Bible. Our elder Apostle Tahar put us on this website through the Spirit, and it allows us to go into the languages that the Bible is translated from, and to get a deeper understanding of what's being said. Now, the blue letter do go off, so you do got to eat the meat and spit out the bones, which means you have to spiritually discern it. Okay, so when you go to the word Shabbat, I hear some brothers say Shabbat, and actually when you look at it in the Hebrew, that's the Shah, the Ba, and the Tha. So it's actually Shabbath, not Shabbat. I believe Shabbat mean like rod or like a stick, but Shabbat is how you properly say Sabbath. All right, just means a day of rest. All right, so we got that there. Maybe we'll read a few more from the Sabbath search here on the Blue Letter website. Verse 25 in that same chapter. And Moses, or Mashah in the Hebrew, said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh. Today ye shall not find it in the field. Yeah, you're not supposed to go out and, labor and do particular things on the Sabbath. 26 says, 6 days ye shall gather, and on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be no. Oh, Salakia. What this is going into this particular thing that the Lord, miracle that the Lord did in the land. Salakia. I'm thinking about something else. But yeah, 6 days you do work and labor. On the 7 days a rest day. unto Yahweh Bashem Shai. But it was saying that, this um substance that was in the land, wasn't going to be there when you read in that chapter. So just want to read a couple of verses there. Let's go over here to have this in First Samuel, the 20th chapter. Now I want to go ahead and go into Ecclesiastes chapter 43. And here um, we see this scribe basically giving glory unto the Lord in his creation. It says, the pride of the height in the clear firmament, the beauty of heaven with the glorious show. The sun, when it appeareth, declareth at his rising a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon, it parches the country, and who can abide the burning heat thereof? A man bloweth the furnace, is in his works of heat, but the sun burneth the mountains 3 times more, breathing out fiery vapors, sun rays, and sendeth forth bright beams, it dimmeth the eyes. Great is Yahweh that made it, and at his commandment it, the sun, runneth hastily. So it's the sun that go around the earth and not the earth going around the sun. Okay. It says, verse 6, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of time. That's what the word season means, an appointed time or a declaration of time. So the moon also serve in her season is used for, particular things. It says a sign of the world, for the moon is the sign of feast, because we have certain feast days that come in on new moons or full moons. All right. The Sabbath, the Sabbath, the first Sabbath come in on a new moon, which that's a feast day. And Sabbaths were feast days. You would cook like we read in Exodus, the 16th chapter. We'll have enough food for the next day, and then, you can eat, so on and so forth. Now, you had the new moon, 7 days. You had another phase of the moon, which I actually have here. You have the first quarter, which is 7 days after the new moon. All right, and you see the moon looks like this, pretty much half a moon. And then another 7 days, you have a full moon. So you have these phases that happens as the moon is growing. All right. So when you count from the first day, which would be the new moon, to the full moon, that's 15 days, which when the 14th day at evening, which is the 15th day, that's a Sabbath, or it should be a full moon when you look it up in the heavens. All right. So back in Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, verse 6, it says, he made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. From the moon is a sign of feast. And actually, I have, let me actually pull this up real quick. Just thought about it. This is Psalm 81. As I mentioned that, new moons, there were feast days. This is Psalm 81 and 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. So a new moon, all right, was also a feast day. All right. So continue on back here in Ecclesiastes 43 and 7. For the moon is a sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. When something is perfect or 100%, all right, another word for 100% is full, at capacity. So the moon at a perfection will be when the moon is at full, because it starts off with no light at all. And as it grows or it wanes, that's the language that they use. As it wanes, you see the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter until it becomes a full illuminated sphere. All right. Fully illuminated. This would be the perfection. It says, for the moon is a sign of feast. Look at the moon, and it served for appointed, times, as we read in the 6th verse, a light that decreases in her perfection. So Once the moon is at its perfection or full, it decreases. It starts, no, I'm sorry, it starts waning. As it grows from the new moon to the full moon, it waxes. And then once it gets to its perfection, it starts waning. So wax also means to grow. Verse 8, the moon is called after her name. We get the word month from the word moon. It says increasing or growing or waxing wonderfully in her changing, her phases. Being an instrument of the armies above, all right, being the tool. It says shining in the firmament of heaven, the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the highest places of Yahweh. So we get some information here about the moon. And remember, all wisdom coming from the Lord. All right, it actually says it in Ecclesiastes. And remember, these writings are divinely inspired by Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the spirit resting on the men of the Lord. All right. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1. You can read the prologue, but when you go to the first verse, it says, all wisdom coming from the Lord and is with him forever. So although this is written by an Israelite, and I believe you can read, I want to say the 48th chapter or the 49th chapter, give you the name. It was the son of Sirach. Right. It says, all, like I was saying through the spirit, all wisdom coming from the Lord and is with him forever. So it's the Lord giving, all right, him this information through the spirit to give to us today so we can use it and navigate here in Babylon the Great. All right. It's the light that we use here in the land of darkness. All right, so we got that. Now I want to get this over here in 1 Samuel, the 20th chapter, and I want to go into how this chapter proves that the new moon is the first day. So in order to know when the Sabbath is, you got to know when's the first day. And the first day is the new moon. All right. And they have entitled it David and Jonathan Covenant, which David was the son of Saul. And David, he was on a run from Saul. Saul had an evil spirit from the Lord on him. All right. And it was jealous spirit of David. All right. You can go ahead and read that whole account. It says, and David fled from Naioth and Ramoth and came and said before Jonathan, what have I done? And what is my iniquity? And what is my sin before thy father that he seeketh my life? Because, hey, David was on a run. He was fearing his life. All right. Jonathan's father, which is King Saul, wanted to kill David. It says, and he said unto him, the Most High forbid that thou shalt not die. Behold, my father will do nothing, either great or small, but that he will show it to me. And why should my father hide this thing from me? It is not so. So this is Jonathan giving, David, which they were like best friends. You know what I mean? They were very close. He's just giving him comfort. And that's what you're supposed to do. When a brother is going through something, you give them comforting words to, help them be comforted through their affliction. And Jonathan, man, he had a solid spirit. All right. It says in the third verse, and David swore moreover and said, thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thy eyes, and he hath said, let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. So, hey, David thought he was close to death. It was his time. Now, David was a man after the Most High heart. He had faith. But sometimes when you encounter these situations, sometimes you get a little shaky, You may think it's the end or whatever, but hey, you gotta stand firm and endure to the end. Let me give a quick word of comfort real quick in Psalm 59. And these are lessons within lessons. Psalm 59 and maybe actually 62. I was just reading this not too long ago. This is Psalm 62 and 8. Trust in him at all times. You got to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua at all times. Whether you're going through good times or bad times, you got to put your trust in him, and you put your trust in the Lord by trusting in the things that's written here in the scripts, the words of the Lord. Ye people, talking about the hopeful elect. Pour out your heart before him. The Most High is a refuge for us, Selah. All right. So, you got to remember these things. You got to trust in the Lord at all times. But as we read here, sometimes you get a little shaky. We in the flesh, but let the spirit kick in. All right. Verse 4. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will even do it for thee. And David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, right? And I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, because as we were going into earlier, the new moon, that was a feast day. So, they sat with the king, all right, on a new moon. And this was a Sabbath. And it says, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, but let me go that I may hide myself in the field until the third day at evening. So they make this covenant, this agreement. Basically David is saying, let me get out of here, and let me hide myself. So when you scroll down, you can read the whole chapter, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna hit these points. We hit the 24th verse. It says, so David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down at meat. And the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall, and Jonathan arose. Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not a thing that day, but he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean. Because the new moon, once again, which is the beginning of a month, and it's also a Sabbath as well as a feast day. Sabbath days were days where we were to be holy. All right, we're supposed to, um, not have sex, not work, not even have our servants work. If we had servants. So if you're unclean or you had a sex act or whatever, you do that can, enable you to be unclean, you will be ceremonially unclean. So you can't participate in different, holy events. All right. Like I said, it can be either you had sex or you was around a woman on her period, whatever. It says in the 27th verse, and it came to pass on the morrow, which is the second day of the month. All right. So the first day of the month is new moon. And on the second day, we're reading here in the 27th place, David's place was empty. So the new moon represents the first day of the month. All right. And that's where you dictate your Sabbaths. It says, and Saul said unto Jonathan his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? All right, so let me get one more in Amos. I want to say it's Amos 5. And is it 8? I know the new moon and the Sabbath is in there. New moon. Bear with me. Let me just find this. No, it's in Amos. Amos 8. 8 and 5. This is Amos 8 and 5. Amos, he was a farmer, Israelite. He had to be strong. It says, saying, when will the new moon be gone? Why? Because the new moon is a Sabbath, Salakia. And Salakia, if I'm a little off, I'm on a very busy street. I'm watching people walking and coming, so bear with me. It says, and when will the new moon be gone, that we may sell corn? All right, because you can't buy and sell on the Sabbath. If I didn't mention that, I was supposed to mention that. All right. And like we said, like I said through the Spirit earlier, the Most High know our conditions, So we earn wages, put in a bag with holes in it, then we subject unto payments. And we pretty much just worried about our daily bread. So we just got sufficient for the day, So, if you do got to get you something to eat, you got to do what you got to do. That's why we have Yahushua, which the Lord set him up to be a prince and a savior for to give repentance unto Israel and forgiveness of sins. So through him, we get forgiveness of things where we fall short on. So that's the glory that we have by having Yahushua. So Don't be over righteous. Why wilt thou destroy thyself, as it is written? But Amos 8:5 saying, when will the new moon be gone that we may sell corn? Because you can't sell on the new moon. It says, and the Sabbath. So new moons and Sabbaths coincide. It says that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances of deceit. Because you had Israelites basically finessing, just like you see Jake today, scamming. All right. When you read in Proverbs 11:1, it speaks about a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So yeah, Israelites, making the ephah small. They wasn't doing the right measurements, for the corn. All right. And then they was making the shekel great. So they was just basically finessing. But the point is, the new moon and the Sabbaths coincide. All right. New moons are Sabbaths. And the new moon is the beginning of a new month. And from the new month, you will be able to determine when is your Sabbath. We have a new month, a new moon come in tonight at evening. All right. This will be the start of the next phases going forward. All right. So from now, it will be Slakia. From Tuesday at evening to Wednesday at evening will be this month phase Sabbath. So Lord willing, was edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.